My name is Noah Moats Jr. And I was born and raised here in Moatstown, what they call Moatstown. And my parents, my father's name was Bryson Andrew Moats, and my mother's name was Mary Frances Moats, but she was a Strother before she married the Moats. Well, my mother, she didn't work, but my dad, he worked on sawmills. He did a lot of farming and farmed for other people, things like that.
And what kind of crops did he raise?
Well, they raised, well, when they went to somebody else's farm for them, they raised wheat. But when they worked for themselves and farmed, they raised buckwheat and rye. My grandparents was Noah Moats. And on my dad's side, and my grandparents on my mother's side was a guy named Rafter Strother.
And do you know your grandmother's names?
On my dad's side, my grandmother's name was Mary Margaret Moats. And on my mother's side, my grandmother's name was wait, I don't know her first name, but I know Julie, Margaret Julie Strother. That was on my mother's side.
And how did your people come into this part of the world?
Now that, I couldn't tell you. I know if they were kids, when we were kids, if they wanted to talk about something and didn't want us kids to know what they talking about, they'd talk Dutch or German or something we couldn't understand. But if they didn't care whether we heard or not, they'd just talk English.
So part of your family was black, and the other part of your family was German and Dutch and whatnot?
Yeah, they were supposed to be black, but they really wasn't black. I think they were Nigerian on my mother's side. I think her parents were Nigerian, but that's what I heard. My uncle, one time, I asked him, you know, the guy you interviewed, I asked him, I said, how is his mother and my mother, how they get that close kin? He said, their daddies were brothers. I said, what? He said, their daddies were brothers. His mother's dad and my mother's dad were brothers. So,
where did you go to school?
I went to school up here. They had old one-room schoolhouse up here in Moatstown, a one-room schoolhouse. I went there till I graduated from the 8th grade. Then I went to Franklin High School.
What was the name of the one-room schoolhouse?
Only thing I know was they called it the Moatstown School. That's all I know. When I was a kid, I can remember when the principal used to come by there about once a week. He'd come by that school and check and see how things were going and stuff.
What else do you remember from that school?
I remember the seats we used to sail on, and I remember, like I said, the one-room schoolhouse, and they only had one teacher, so she taught all the grades. She taught from the 1st grade you went to school to the 8th grade. And she taught all that.
And you said you remember the seats. What do you remember about the seats?
I remember the seats and the desks. The desks had a little old hole up here where you set your bottle on the desk. And it was probably that long or something. And the seats, I remember them real well. They had old thing you set your feet on. If some of them old feet still up there in that schoolhouse.
What was it like when it got cold outside?
They had a big wood stove in that schoolhouse. It set in the middle of the floor. So it throws heat all the way, both sides.
Who would cut the wood and all?
The old people, like my father, that guy you interviewed, his father, and they keep wood and stuff like that and sit there. And we had to walk to school. It wasn't no school bus. I lived over here in this road. Maybe, it might be half a mile up in there. The first house, but we always went on up and had to walk across this ridge over here called the Pine Ridge. We'd get up there with that guy you just interviewed. We'd go up there, 'cause he lived on up above me. And we'd walk across that old ridge called the Pine Ridge to get to the schoolhouse. They farmed it. They spend a little bit of money what they worked for. Back in the days, you only made $2 a day. I know we walked from here 5 or 6 miles up the road and work all day for $2 a day.
Around what year was that?
Back in let's see, I was about 50, 51, 52, 'cause I left from here in 59. That guy you interviewed, his father and my father, they used to go out every spring. He had an old 30-model Chevrolet car. I'll never forget it, those square jobs. And they'd go out every spring and clip sheep. They'd go all over Pendleton County and clip sheep for people. And that's how they made the money. The only way I could tell them would be take the wool off of them. It would be taking the wool off of them.
Okay. And you say that you left here,
In 1959.
and why did you leave?
Wasn't nothing around here to do. I was still in school. I left. I was a junior in school when I left. But my brother, he had done gone. He done left. So he got me a job. I went to the job to get some money.
What kind of job?
I worked in the hospital. First, I washed dishes. I washed dishes in a dishwasher. And then I got up to be almost a dietitian, 'cause I fixed trays and stuff for the patients in this hospital.
And where was this at?
That was over Stanton, old King Daughter Hospital. That's my first job. I worked $48 every 2 weeks. That's the money I made. The minimum wage got to $1.25 an hour. I went to Wholesome Bakery in Verona. The minimum wage just went to $1.25 an hour, and I went there.
And when did you come back?
83.
Why'd you come back?
I don't know. I often ask myself, why did I come back over here? I often ask myself that.
What do you love about this place?
Yeah, I love it. I love the people around, the view and the land and stuff. I used to live right down here. You went up that next road. It's probably from the road, it might be a quarter mile from where I live.
Did y'all go to church when you were a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Where'd y'all go to church?
Right here. This church fits right here.
What's the name of that church?
I think of something Methodist.
Okay.
And then when I moved to Stanton, I went to that church over there, Mount Salem Baptist Church. I went over there to that church. I was baptized in Mount Salem Church over there. Me and the guy you just interviewed, we got baptized the same night together.
You and Otis. Do you have any memories of that church?
Oh yeah, I remember we used to have Christmas programs in there and all the kids and stuff. I remember the old people. Now you talk about a choir that could sing. Them old people got together. Now they could make some singing in that church. I remember it.
Do you remember any of the songs?
Oh, they used to sing them old songs. I did wade in the water and saints go marching and all that old songs like that.
Were your parents religious?
You never heard too much out of my mom, but my dad wasn't very religious.
About to get some rain.
I hope not. We might though.